My God is so good.
All the time.
So good.
All the time.
Ah, God is so good. Yeah. So good. Yeah. God is so good. So good. All the time. All the time. All the time. Amen. Have mercy, and so it is.
Thank you, Eddie Watkins Jr. It's so wonderful having him back. So my talk this morning is before the dawn. Before the dawn. Have you ever noticed that no matter how successful people are, no matter how busy they are, no matter how fast their car is or how large their house is, there's always something in them that longs for more, that wants more. And not more achievement, not activity, but more connection. There is that within us that wants to feel worthy, wants to feel supported. To know that our time here, our work, our hardships have meaning and purpose. And we have people that have all the money in the world, and it's still not enough for them. Because material things can never answer a spiritual longing. Some will say this is God, others spirit, some love. But whatever it is, the longing is universal. And here's something else that I have noticed. That our faith at times can feel bright and sure and expansive. And then there are other times where it feels challenged. There are moments in life that feel like the darkness has come to us. But the thing to remember is that the darkness is often just right before the dawn of a new day. Tested faith is not weak faith. Sometimes the most spiritual thing we can do is simply not run away. It's to show up. To put one foot in front of the other is sometimes the most holy and the bravest act available to us. Because even when we can't see the whole picture, something deeper is moving in our lives, in our souls, in our hearts. 2 weeks ago, I had to go up to Atlanta to care for a longtime friend, 45 years, who had had a major surgery. And we had known the surgery is coming up for months, and so I did all my prayer work, I did all my visioning. I knew the recovery was going to be uncomfortable. I knew he was going to do lots of complaining, especially when the physical therapist got there. But I was certain that after a period, he was going to be back to himself. I did not doubt it for a moment. And I certainly didn't think he was in any real danger. So for 3 nights, I stayed with him in the hospital. There's no worse place to try to sleep than in a hospital. And then when he got home, I stayed a couple of more nights just to make sure that he was on the path. And when I left him, he was standing, he was walking, and I was pretty sure he was back on a full road to recovery. But the next day when I got back to St. Augustine, he had had a major setback. He was in confusion, he was fearful, he was in pain. He wasn't himself. He wasn't talking coherently. And that sent me into a tailspin. It wasn't what I had envisioned. And I didn't know what to do. Had my prayers been in vain? So for a moment, I thought about packing up the suitcase and heading back to Atlanta. But I was exhausted, and there was more than enough work waiting for me to do. So I couldn't do it. And that was very difficult. That was very hard for me. Because when someone you love is suffering, you want to be there to fix it. You want to be the one holding it all together. But here, then something amazing happened. Because when I stepped away, an amazing event happened, and that was other people started showing up. Friends who flew in from across the country. Schedules were rearranged. People stayed with him around the clock. He was surrounded by love. His body was healing, but more importantly, his heart was healing. For a long time, even though he's been a very, very successful person, he had never really seen himself worthy of love. Now he cannot deny how deeply he is loved. And that's when it struck me. I was holding a picture of his physical healing in my mind. God had a deeper healing in mind, a healing of the heart. I was focused on the body. Spirit was restoring belonging, revealing worth, surrounding him with love he did not even know he needed, that he didn't even know was available to him. Even when we can't see the whole picture, something deeper is moving in our lives. And faith isn't always about controlling the outcome. It's about trusting the unfolding. On the way back home, right after I had left Atlanta, my niece called me up. My niece and I can have long conversations, and this was a perfect time to have one. So 3 hours later, I was still talking to her. And I had gotten to a very rural part of Georgia. And it's that area that the exits are very far in between, and not every exit has a gas station. And suddenly my car let me know in no uncertain terms that it was about to run out of gas. So I pulled at the exit that had the interstate marker said it had gas station. And it just so happened that very exit that I turned off on was the exit that I would have taken if I was going to go back to my parents' hometown of Abbeville in Fitzgerald. And so I pulled off that exit, and I was going to take a right. And when I looked over to the left, on the opposite side of the bridge was the biggest, most ginormous, most huge Confederate flag you have ever seen. I don't even know where they could have gotten such a big flag from. Who makes those things? Now, it made me realize that area might be the place from where I came from, but it's not my home. It's not my home. And if my tank hadn't been so low, I would have probably risked going to the next exit. But I needed the gas, and I needed the restroom too. So the station turned out to be an old country store. It's one that I have experienced many times in my childhood, with cans of sardines and Vienna sausages and crackers. And so I braced myself for what I was going to find. Amazingly, the restroom turned out to be immaculate. It was clean, it was updated. You could tell somebody really had pride in it. They had folded a little paper towel for underneath the soap dispenser so soap wouldn't get on the counter. It was like, somebody is really taking pride in this. Behind the counter was a young Indian man, not Native American, but from India. And it so struck me, the contrast. Outside flew a huge symbol of division, but something different was unfolding inside. And I sensed from this young guy that he wasn't expecting much friendliness from me. He really wanted the transaction over with. And I thought to myself, how much kindness does he see on a daily basis? What is his reactions like that he's getting in this area? And during the whole time we were going through the transaction, I just kept getting a sense, a feeling from Spirit, you got to say something nice to this guy. You've got in some way to encourage him a little bit. So I complimented him on the restroom. It was something to be grateful for. And it made me realize, you see, it would have been so like me in my earlier life to stay focused on arguing with the people who put up that flag. But that argument's been going on for a long, long time, and you can waste a lot of energy and a lot of time doing that. And the world really wants us to right now. Stay involved in this argument. Stay divided. Stay complaining. But something new is bubbling up. Something new wants to be revealed. And I could stay in that argument, I could stay in that battle, or I could give a little bit of encouragement to a 23-year-old Indian guy who's come from a stranger in a strange land, who could use a little bit of encouragement. And that little bit of encouragement, that little bit of stepping out can change the world. And that's what we can do. We don't have to man the barricades. We don't have to try to take over the world. Just a little bit of kindness can change the world. That can make a difference. You see, sometimes faith isn't dramatic. Sometimes divine connection looks like encouragement. Sometimes it's just noticing somebody who's trying their best. And Spirit is always sending us signals. It's like, you remember the old radio when we were out driving when we were kids, you try to tune in the radio, and sometimes you get static, sometimes, you'd have to tune it in more. That Spirit is always sending us signals. But our fear, our resentments, our need to control, that's the static. But every time we choose love over fear, the signal becomes clearer. And when appearances feel heavy, remind ourselves that something deeper is moving in our lives. We don't always know it from where we are at this level of perception, but we can trust that Spirit's love, its compassion, its kindness is going to show up. And if we will make a way for it, it can show up even stronger, even bolder. There's an interesting story. There's an interesting story in the Gospel of John. And the story is that Christ had been out. He had been spreading his word. Word had come to him that his friend Lazarus had died. Lazarus' sister, Mary and Martha, they had sent word to him, come back, save our brother. When he got there, Lazarus was already in his tomb. And they say it's the shortest verse in the Bible because before Christ went to the tomb, it says he sat down and Jesus wept. Christ wept. Why would he weep? He knew he was going to be able to resurrect Lazarus. He knew a healing was coming. Why did he weep? Because love doesn't bypass grief. Faith doesn't cancel out compassion. Divine connection does not make us detached. It makes us vulnerable. It makes us open. It makes us be able to see what others are going through. Have a little bit of compassion, a little bit of kindness for ourselves, for each other. And when we do, we won't be so quick to judge. We won't be so quick to denounce. We'll be willing to just have a little bit of compassion for people who are doing their best. Even before the miracle Christ performed, even inside the sorrow, there was something deeper moving in his life. Faith isn't pretending that everything's fine. Faith is trusting that when even things fall apart, we are not alone. So sometimes our faith may feel tired. The outcome doesn't unfold the way we think. And sometimes we hold on too tightly to one picture of how things should look. And in those times, we have to breathe. We have to know that even if we're standing in uncertainty, even if we're standing in grief, even if we're standing in darkness that feels long and heavy, we have to remember that sometimes the darkest point is right before the dawn. Even here, even now, something deeper is moving. Not towards your harm, but towards your wholeness. Not towards your diminishment, but towards your awakening. Not towards fear, but towards love. The dawn does not rush, but it always comes. And when it comes, what we think is an ending, we will know has become a beginning. So we need to keep our hearts open, to choose kindness, to trust the unfoldment. Because even when faith feels quiet, spirit is not. And beneath it all, there is something greater moving in our lives. That deeper movement is love rising. It's compassion waking. It is the coming dawn of a new day. And we are all going to witness that new day through our hearts and our souls when we keep ourselves reminded of the truth of who we are and whose we are. We're children of the Most High. We have not come to this life to be broken and beat down. We are not here to wander in distress and dismay. We are here to be a bright, shining light of God's possibilities, of the love and compassion available to each of us. And when we do, we are going to be that breaking dawn of a new day. The love and light from within inside is going to illuminate this world. And together, we're going to join hands and sing out, "Glory to God Almighty." This is the truth in your life this morning. It's the truth in mine, and so it is.